What did you see?
Nothing!
Tell me!
I saw nothing!
Do not make me repeat myself.
I didn't.
You're lying!
I'm not!
Just tell me the truth! You're lying!
I'm not!
Who sent you? Who the fuck sent you?
No one! I was just trying to catch the train!
His eyes narrowed. The dragon tattoo on his neck shifted as he swallowed, processing. A bookstore. He said it like he didn't believe her. Like it was the most ridiculous thing he'd ever heard. Please, she whispered, her voice trembling. Please, I didn't see anything. I don't know who you are. I just want to go home. His jaw clenched. She could see the tension in it, the barely leashed violence. You saw the cars. It was dark. You saw the exchange. I didn't see what was in them. You saw faces. His grip on her jaw tightened. That's enough. Her blood turned to ice. What? What are you going to do to me? He didn't answer. Just stared at her, his red hair dripping, his expression unreadable. Then he released her jaw and pulled out his phone. Iris's heart hammered. He's calling someone. He's going to kill me. Oh God, he's going to... But he didn't dial. He just stood there, phone in hand, staring at her like she was a problem he couldn't solve. The rain pounded around them. Finally, he spoke. How old are you? The question threw her. Well, what? How old? 25. Family. I have a sister. Where? University. 3 hours away. Please, she has nothing to do with this. Boyfriend? Husband? No. His eyes flicked over her, taking inventory, her cheap clothes, her worn sneakers, her trembling hands. You live alone. It wasn't a question. She nodded anyway. He was silent for a long moment. Then, you can't go home. Terror flooded her. What? You saw something you weren't supposed to see. His voice was flat, matter of fact. You understand what that means? She was shaking her head, backing away. No. No. Please. He grabbed her wrist again, pulled her back. Listen to me very carefully. I can't let you walk away. Do you understand? I won't tell anyone. I swear, I won't. Everyone says that. His grip tightened. And then they get scared. Or they get smart. And they talk. I won't, she was begging. Now her voice raw. I have a sister. She's in college. She needs me. I can't. Please. I can't. Something flickered in his eyes. Too fast to read. He let go of her wrist and ran a hand through his wet red hair. Frustrated. Fuck. She stood there, trembling, not daring to move. He paced a few steps away, then back. The rain poured. His red hair was wild now, water streaming down his face. He looked like something out of a nightmare. Beautiful and deadly. Finally, he stopped in front of her. I'm going to ask you one more time, and I'll know if you're lying. He leaned down, his face inches from hers. What exactly did you see? Iris's voice shook. Black cars, men in suits, 2 men in the middle, one gave the other a briefcase. Metal. That's it. I didn't see faces clearly. I didn't hear anything. It was raining too hard. He studied her, searching for the lie. She forced herself to hold his gaze, even though every instinct screamed at her to look away. Please, she whispered. I'm nobody. I just sell books. I'm not a threat to you. You became a threat the moment you stepped into that alley. Then why haven't you... She couldn't finish. Killed you? His smile was cold. I'm still deciding. Her knees almost gave out. He caught her arm, steadying her. The touch was surprisingly gentle. But there's another option. Hope flared, desperate and painful. What? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, you're going to be my wife. The world stopped. The rain seemed to pause. Everything went silent except for the pounding of her heart. What? He straightened, hands in his pockets, looking down at her like he'd just proposed a business deal. You'll marry me. Contract. 1 year. I don't understand. You don't need to understand. His voice was cold again. Controlled. You need to agree. This is insane. Insane is letting you walk away. He stepped closer. She backed up against the wall. He put a hand on the brick beside her head, leaning in. You saw something. I can't have loose ends, but I also can't. He paused. I need a wife, temporarily. You need to stay alive. It's mutually beneficial. Why would you need a wife? Her voice was barely a whisper. That's not your concern. You're asking me to marry you, and it's not my concern? His eyes flashed. I'm not asking. The weight of that hit her. She stared up at him, this stranger with red hair and a dragon tattoo and eyes that held no warmth. And if I refuse? He leaned closer. She could feel his breath on her face, warm despite the cold rain. Then I make a phone call, and you disappear. And then your sister, Ania, is it? She'll wonder why you stopped sending money, why you stopped answering her texts. And eventually, she'll stop wondering. She'll move on. His voice dropped. And you'll be a memory. Iris's breath caught. How do you know her name? He smiled. Didn't reach his eyes. I know everything about you. Now. Your address. Your work schedule. Your sister's university. Her dorm room number. He tilted his head. I could have someone there in an hour. No. The word came out broken. Please. No. She has nothing. Then agree. Tears streamed down her face, mixing with rain. This isn't fair. Life isn't fair. He pulled back slightly. But I'm giving you a choice. Most people don't get that. That's not a choice. It's the only one you have. She looked at him, really looked at him, trying to find something human beneath the cold exterior. His red hair stuck to his forehead. The dragon tattoo seemed alive in the dim light. His jaw was clenched, like this conversation was costing him something too, but his eyes were empty. I need an answer, Iris. Hearing her name from his lips made her flinch. She thought of Nia, her bright smile, her dreams of becoming a teacher, her texts full of heart emojis. She thought of her parents, what they'd sacrificed to give them a better life. She thought of her tiny apartment, her bookstore, her quiet existence, all of it about to be ripped away. If I do this, her voice was hoarse, if I agree, you won't hurt my sister? I have no reason to. Promise me. He raised an eyebrow. You think my promise means anything? Promise me anyway. He stared at her for a long moment, then, fine. Your sister is safe, as long as you cooperate. And after a year, you go free? Just like that? Just like that. He stepped back. Someone will come for you tomorrow morning. 7 a.m., be ready. Wait. He was already walking away. Wait, she called out, desperation making her brave. I don't even know your name. He paused, looked back over his shoulder. The rain made his red hair look like blood in the streetlight. Ji-hun. The name sounded important, powerful, dangerous. And if I run? She asked, needing to know. If I don't answer the door tomorrow? His smile was razor sharp. Then I'll come for you myself. And I won't be as generous the second time. He took a step back toward her, his eyes locked on hers. Don't test me, Iris. I've been merciful tonight. That mercy has limits. Then he was gone, disappearing into the rain and shadows like a ghost. Iris stood there, soaked to the bone, shaking. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, a text from an unknown number, 7 a.m. Don't be late, and don't run. I'll know. She looked up at the empty street, rain pouring down. Somewhere in the distance, a train whistle blew. She'd missed it. And somewhere in the darkness, she knew he was still watching. Hey, loves. Welcome to Soul Afro Stories. Okay, can we just breathe for a second? Because Iris's entire life just changed in one rainy night. One wrong turn, and now she's trapped with a Korean Mafia lord. Quick question. If you were Iris, would you sign that contract? Or would you run and risk everything? Drop your answer below and tell me where you're watching from. And if you're already hooked, hit subscribe because this story is just getting started. All right, let's get back to it. Iris didn't sleep. She sat on her apartment floor, back against the bed, staring at nothing. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him. His red hair, the tattoo on his neck moving as he spoke, those cold, cold eyes. "You're going to be my wife." She checked her phone 100 times. The text was still there. Real, not a hallucination. 7 a.m. Don't be late, and don't run. I'll know. She thought about calling the police. But what would she say? A man with red hair cornered me in the rain and threatened to kill me unless I marry him. They'd think she was insane. And even if they believed her, men like Ji-hun didn't get caught by police. Men like him owned the police. She thought about calling Naya, telling her to pack a bag and run. But he knew where Nia was. Knew her dorm room number. I could have someone there in an hour. At 3 a.m., she finally Googled his name, Ji-hun. The results made her blood run cold. Articles, business news, photos of him at galas in expensive suits, his red hair unmistakable. Ji-hun, heir to Kang Industries, spotted at charity event. Youngest CEO in South Korea's luxury real estate market. But beneath the legitimate articles, there were whispers, forum posts, deleted threads, mafia, organized crime. The Kang family controls half of Seoul's underground. She shut her laptop, heart racing. This wasn't just a dangerous man. This was a powerful, dangerous man. At 5 a.m., she finally moved. Shower. Coffee. Her hands shook so badly, she dropped the mug. It shattered on the floor. She stared at the pieces, tears burning her eyes. This is my life now. At 6:50 a.m., she stood by her door, dressed in the same clothes from yesterday. She hadn't eaten. Couldn't. At 6:59 a.m., her phone buzzed. We're downstairs. At 7 a.m. exactly, there was a knock. 3 sharp raps. Iris opened the door. 2 men in black suits, earpieces, expressions like stone. "Miss Iris?" She nodded, not trusting her voice. "We're here to bring you to Mr. Kang." One of them gestured to the hallway. She grabbed her phone with trembling fingers and followed. The car was black, expensive. Leather seats that probably cost more than her yearly salary. Iris sat in the back, flanked by the 2 men, and watched Seoul pass by in a blur. They didn't speak to her. She didn't speak to them. 20 minutes of silence. When they finally stopped, it was in front of a building that made her stomach drop. Glass. Steel. 50 stories of wealth and power piercing the sky. "This way, please." They led her inside. The lobby was all marble and gold. A doorman nodded at the men like he knew them. Like this was routine. Private elevator. Iris watched the numbers climb. 30, 40, 45. Her ears popped. 50. The doors opened directly into an apartment. No, a penthouse. Iris stepped out into a space so large, so expensive, so cold that she felt like she'd walked into a museum. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. The city sprawled beneath them like a kingdom. Minimalist furniture. Everything black, white, gray. Sharp angles. No curves. No softness. No color except... Ji-hun stood by the window, phone to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. His red hair was the only splash of color in the entire space. He wore a black button-down, sleeves rolled to his elbows, and dark slacks. The dragon tattoo was visible on his neck, dark against his pale skin. He finished his call, pocketed his phone, and turned to her. Daylight didn't make him less terrifying. If anything, it made him more real. "Sit." It wasn't a suggestion. Iris sat on the edge of a white leather couch, hands clasped in her lap. Ji-hun walked over to a glass table, picked up a manila folder and dropped it in front of her. The sound echoed in the silent space. Read it. She opened it with shaking hands. Marriage contract. Her eyes blurred. She forced herself to focus. This agreement is entered into on date between Party A, Kang Ji-hun, and Party B, Iris. Duration, 1 year from date of signing. Terms and conditions, 1. Party B will reside with Party A at his primary residence for the duration of the contract. 2. Party B will fulfill the role of spouse in all public and family settings, including but not limited to social events, family gatherings, and public appearances. 3. Party B will not disclose the contractual nature of this arrangement to any third party under any circumstances. 4. Party B will not engage in romantic or sexual relationships with other individuals during the contract period. 5. Party B will not discuss, disclose, or reference the events witnessed on the night of date to any person, organization, or authority. 6. Party B will have limited contact with outside individuals. All communications will be monitored for the first 3 months. 7. Breach of any term will result in immediate termination of the agreement and enforcement of non-disclosure penalties as outlined in Section 12. There were more pages, legal jargon, clauses about breach of contract, financial penalties she could never afford, and at the bottom, a signature line. Iris looked up at him. This is insane. Ji-hun leaned against the window, arms crossed. It's necessary. Necessary? You're asking me to give up my entire life? I'm asking you to play a role for 12 months. In exchange, you get to keep breathing. His voice was flat. Seems fair to me. Fair? She stood, anger overriding fear for a moment. You threatened my sister. You're holding me prisoner. You're not a prisoner. He gestured to the penthouse. You'll live here. Comfortably. You'll want for nothing. Except freedom. His jaw tightened. Freedom is overrated. Easy for you to say. He pushed off the window, stalked toward her. Iris's anger evaporated, replaced by the familiar fear. He stopped a foot away, looking down at her. Let me be very clear about something, Iris. His voice was quiet, deadly. This isn't a negotiation. You don't get to argue. You don't get to make demands. He tilted his head. You sign, or you face the alternative. Those are your options. You keep saying that like I have a choice. You do, just not the one you want. She stared up at him. Why marriage? Why not just keep me locked up somewhere? For the first time, something flickered in his expression. He was silent for a long moment. Then, my grandmother is dying. Iris blinked. She has a heart condition. The doctors give her a month, maybe 6 weeks. His voice was controlled, but she heard the edge in it, the crack. She wants to see me married before she dies. She's been asking for years, begging. So you're using me to lie to a dying woman? His eyes hardened. I'm using you to give her peace. It's still a lie, a merciful one. He stepped closer. She raised me. She's the only family I have left. And if I can give her this, one last thing that makes her happy, then I will. Even if it means dragging you into it. Iris's throat tightened. She understood love, sacrifice for family. But this, and me? She asked quietly. What about what this does to me? You get to stay alive. He said it like it should be enough. You get to keep your sister safe. You get a year of luxury most people never experience, and then you walk away. And if I can't do this, if I can't pretend to be in love with you for a year, then you better learn how to act. He pulled the pen from his pocket, held it out. Because this is happening, with or without your cooperation. The only question is how difficult you want to make it. She stared at the pen. What if I refuse? What if I sign nothing and dare you to do your worst? His smile was cold. Then your sister gets a visit tonight, and you'll simply disappear. No contract, no mercy. The tears came then, hot and angry. You're a monster. He didn't flinch. Yes, I've made peace with that. He pushed the pen into her hand. Now sign. Her hand shook as she picked up the contract. She thought of Naya, her laugh, her dreams. She thought of her parents, how hard they'd worked. She thought of the life she'd had, small, quiet, safe, gone. All of it, gone because she took a shortcut in the rain. She signed. Ji-hun took the contract, scanned her signature, and nodded. Good. What happens now? Her voice was hollow. Now, you meet my grandmother. Her head snapped up. Already? The wedding is in 5 days. She'll want to meet you, get to know you. He checked his watch. We leave in an hour. There are clothes in the bedroom. Shower, change, try to look happy. Happy? Yes. You're supposedly marrying the man of your dreams. His smile was mocking. Act like it. He walked away toward his office. Ji-hun. He paused, glanced back. It was the first time she'd said his name. What if I can't do this? What if I'm not a good enough actress? For a moment, just a moment, something softened in his eyes. Then fake it, like I do. Then he was gone. Iris stood alone in the massive, cold penthouse and wondered how she was supposed to survive this. The care facility was beautiful in a way that made Iris's chest ache. Manicured gardens, soft music, staff in pristine uniforms moving quietly through halls that smelled like lavender and expensive cleaners. Money buys even death, she thought bitterly. Ji-hun walked beside her, hands in his pockets. He'd been silent the entire drive. She'd showered, changed into clothes that fit perfectly. A simple cream blouse and dark slacks that probably cost more than her rent. Someone had left makeup on the bathroom counter. She'd used it sparingly, her hands still shaking. Now, walking through these pristine halls, she felt like an imposter. Don't look so terrified, Ji-hun murmured as they turned a corner. I am terrified. She's a 90-pound woman with a failing heart. What's there to be scared of? I'm about to lie to her face. He stopped walking, turned to her. They were alone in the hallway. Listen to me carefully. His voice was low. My grandmother is the kindest person you'll ever meet. She's warm, loving, everything I'm not. His jaw clenched. And she's dying. So when we walk through that door, you will smile. You will be sweet. You will make her believe you love me. Understand? And if I can't? His hand came up, gripping her chin gently but firmly, making her look at him. Then I'll remind you what's at stake. He released her and kept walking. Iris followed, heart pounding. They stopped at a door. Room 127. Ji-hun's entire demeanor shifted. The coldness melted from his face, his shoulders relaxed. He ran a hand through his red hair, a nervous gesture. He looked human. Then he knocked. Duliwa, come in. The voice was frail but bright. Ji-hun opened the door and Iris followed him inside. The room was warm, cozy. Photos everywhere, on the walls, the nightstand, the dresser. A crocheted blanket, flowers by the window. And in the bed, propped up on pillows, was a tiny woman with silver hair and eyes that sparkled with life despite the oxygen tube in her nose. Ji-hun! Ji-hun! Her face lit up like the sun. Ji-hun crossed the room in 3 strides, bent down, and kissed her forehead. Halmioni, grandmother. His voice was soft, tender. Nothing like the cold tone he'd used with Iris. The old woman cupped his face in her wrinkled hands. You came. I didn't think you'd visit until next week. I had a surprise for you. A surprise? Her eyes lit up. Then she looked past him and saw Iris standing awkwardly by the door. The old woman's gasp was sharp. Nuguya? Who is this? Ji-hun straightened, gestured for Iris to come closer. She did, forcing her legs to move. Halmioni, this is Iris. He switched to English. My girlfriend. The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Then, girlfriend? The old woman's eyes went wide, then wider. Then tears spilled over. Chinja? Really? She reached out with shaking hands. Iris took them. The old woman's grip was surprisingly strong. Oh my God, Ji-hun, she's beautiful. Where did you find her? How long have you been together? Why didn't you tell me? The questions came rapid fire in a mix of Korean and English. Ji-hun smiled, actually smiled, warm and genuine, and Iris's heart stuttered. He looked different, younger. The hardness around his eyes softened. We met a few months ago, he lied smoothly. I wanted to be sure before introducing you. Sure of what? She's perfect. Look at her. The grandmother pulled Iris closer, studying her face. Beautiful eyes, kind face, and you... She looked at Iris. What do you do? I work at a bookstore. A bookstore? You read books? Iris nodded. Ji-hun loves books. Did you know that? She squeezed Iris's hands. When he was little, I couldn't get him to put them down. Always reading, always so serious. Iris glanced at Ji-hun. He was looking away, jaw tight. I didn't know that, Iris said softly. There's so much you'll learn about him. The grandmother smiled. He's a good boy, stubborn, too serious, but good. Deep down, where it counts? Iris wanted to laugh, or cry, or both. This woman has no idea who her grandson really is. Halmione, Ji-hun said gently. We have more news. The old woman's eyes narrowed. What news? He glanced at Iris, a command in his eyes. Your turn. Iris took a breath, forced a smile. We're getting married. The silence was deafening. Then, well? What? The grandmother's hands flew to her mouth. Married? Jungmal? Really? Ji-hun nodded. Yes, Halmione, in 5 days. 5 days? But that's so fast. I need to plan. She stopped, looked at them. Wait, why so fast? Iris's heart stopped. Ji-hun sat on the edge of the bed, took his grandmother's hand. Because we don't want to wait, and because... He paused. Because I want you there, Halmione, healthy enough to enjoy it. The old woman's eyes filled with tears. You're doing this for me. I'm doing this for us. He squeezed her hand. But yes, I want you to see it. She cried then. Soft, happy tears. Iris felt like an intruder, like she was witnessing something private and sacred. The grandmother pulled Ji-hun into a hug. He wrapped his arms around her carefully, like she might break. Over his shoulder, she reached for Iris. Come here, child. Iris moved forward. The old woman grabbed her hand, pulling her into the embrace. The three of them sat there, tangled together, and Iris felt her throat tighten. This was real. The old woman's joy was real. And they were lying to her. When they finally pulled apart, the grandmother was beaming. I can't believe it. My Ji-hun married to this beautiful girl. She looked at Iris. You must tell me everything. How did he propose? Was it romantic? Did he get on one knee? Iris opened her mouth, panic flaring. It was raining, Ji-hun said smoothly. Like the night we met. We were walking, and I just asked. No fanfare. Just us. The grandmother sighed. That sounds like my Ji-hun. Never one for grand gestures. She patted his cheek. But it's perfect, because it's real. Real. The word felt like a knife. They stayed for another hour. The grandmother talked nonstop. About Ji-hun as a child. About the wedding. About how happy she was. Ji-hun was patient. Answered her questions. Smiled when she asked him to smile. And when she got tired, he adjusted her pillows without being asked. Brought her water. Held her hand until she dozed off. Iris watched him and felt something shift in her chest. He loved this woman. That part was real. Everything else might be a lie, but this was true. When they finally left, the grandmother was sleeping peacefully. Ji-hun kissed her forehead one last time. I'll bring Iris back soon. In the hallway, his mask slammed back into place. The warmth vanished. The coldness returned. They walked to the car in silence. Got in. Drove. Finally, Iris couldn't take it anymore. She really loves you. Ji-hun stared out the window. I know. And we're lying to her. His jaw clenched. Yes. Doesn't that bother you? He turned to her. His eyes were empty again. Everything bothers me. I just decide what's worth the guilt. And she's not. She's dying. His voice was flat. She has a month, maybe less. She'll die happy, thinking I found love. Thinking I won't be alone. He looked back at the window. That's worth the lie. What? About after? When she's gone and I leave? What then? Then I'll grieve. Like I would have anyway. Iris stared at him. You're really okay with this. I'm practical. He met her eyes. Morality is a luxury I can't afford. That's a sad way to live. It's the only way I know how. The car pulled up to the penthouse. Go inside. Your things should be here by now. My things? I had your apartment packed up. Everything's been moved to your room. She stared at him. You went through my stuff? My people did. Don't worry. We were thorough. I didn't give you permission. You signed a contract. He got out of the car. You live here now. Or did you think you'd be commuting? She followed him inside, anger bubbling up. You can't just... I can. He turned to face her in the elevator. I own you for the next 12 months, Iris. The sooner you accept that, the easier this will be. The elevator doors opened into the penthouse. Iris stormed to her room and stopped. It wasn't empty anymore. Her books lined a shelf. Her clothes hung in the closet. Her tiny collection of photos sat on the nightstand. Her entire life transplanted into this cold, sterile space. She sat on the bed and finally let herself cry. 3 days passed. 3 days of existing in the penthouse like a ghost. Ji-hun left early every morning, came back late. They barely spoke. Iris spent her days wandering the massive space, feeling more alone than she ever had in her tiny apartment. She wasn't allowed to leave. Security, Ji-hun said, for your protection. She wasn't allowed her phone. It's been replaced, he said, handing her a new one. This number is secure, only approved contacts. She checked. The only number saved was Ji-hun's. She wasn't allowed to call Nia yet. After the wedding, he said, when things are stable. So she read. Stared out the window at the city she couldn't touch. Tried not to think about how thoroughly her life had been erased. On the third night, Ji-hun came home earlier than usual. Iris was in the kitchen. She'd started cooking to pass the time. Nothing fancy, just pasta. She heard the door open. His footsteps. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, loosening his tie. His red hair was disheveled, the dragon tattoo visible as always. He looked tired. You cook. It wasn't a question. I got bored. He walked to the counter, looked at the pot. Smells good. She didn't respond. He poured himself a drink. Whiskey. Neat. Silence, then. There's a fitting tomorrow, for your wedding dress. Her stomach tightened. Already? The wedding is in 2 days. 2 days. I thought I could just wear something I already have. No. He took a sip. It needs to look real. That means a real dress. A real ceremony. How real are we talking? Traditional. My grandmother will be there. Some family friends. Maybe 40 people. 40 people watching her lie. What do I need to do? Show up, smile, say the vows. He set his glass down. And convince everyone you're in love with me. She laughed bitterly. That's going to be difficult. Then act better. She turned to face him. You keep saying that like it's easy. Like I can just turn off my feelings. Can't you? He tilted his head. You've been doing it for 3 days. That's different. How? Because I can avoid you. But at a wedding, I'll have to... She stopped. Touch me? His smile was sharp. Yes. You will. Her face heated. The photographer will want couple shots. My grandmother will want to see us kiss. People will expect us to look intimate. He stepped closer. Can you do that? I don't know. Figure it out. He picked up his glass, started to leave. Fitting is at 10. Don't be late. Ji-hun. He paused. Why are you doing this? Really? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, because it's easier than the alternative. Which is? He didn't respond. He just left, and Iris stood in the kitchen, heart aching for reasons she didn't want to examine. The next day, Tae-young entered her life. Iris was sitting in the living room, reading, when the door opened. She looked up, expecting Ji-hun. Instead, a stranger walked in. Tall, handsome, warm brown eyes, a smile that actually reached his face. You must be Iris. She stood, confused. Who are you? Min Tae-young, Ji-hun's best friend. He extended his hand. She shook it, cautious. He didn't mention you? He doesn't mention a lot of things. Tae-young's smile widened. I'm his right-hand man. We've known each other since we were kids. Oh, I wanted to meet the woman who finally got him to settle down. His eyes were kind, curious. He's been secretive about you. We're private. Clearly. He gestured to the couch. Mind if I sit? I'm supposed to wait for him anyway. She nodded. He sat, studied her. You're nervous. Is it that obvious? A little? He leaned back. The wedding, I'm guessing? Among other things. Ji-hun can be intense, but he's a good guy. Deep down. Iris almost laughed. If only you knew. How long have you known him? 20 years, since we were 8. Tae-young's expression softened. We grew up together. He's like a brother. He's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have him. He tilted his head. What about you? How did you two meet? The lie came easier this time. By chance. Wrong place, right time. Must have been some chance he doesn't let people in? I noticed. Tae-young laughed. You'll be good for him. I can tell. Before she could respond, the door opened. Ji-hun walked in, saw Tae-young, and his expression hardened. What are you doing here? Nice to see you too. Tae-young stood. I came to meet your fiancé. You've been hiding her. I've been busy. Too busy to introduce her to your best friend? Tae-young looked at Iris. He's always like this. Possessive. Ji-hun's jaw clenched. We need to talk. Alone. Iris started to leave. Stay, Ji-hun said. Then to Tae-young. My office. Now. They disappeared down the hall. Iris sat back down, heart racing. That was Ji-hun's best friend. Someone who clearly cared about him. Someone who had no idea this was all fake. The lies were piling up, and Iris was drowning in them. The dress was beautiful. Iris stared at her reflection and barely recognized herself. White silk that hugged her curves before flowing into a simple train. Delicate lace sleeves. A neckline that was elegant without being revealing. She looked like a bride, a real bride. The stylist circled her, adjusting, pinning, nodding with satisfaction. Perfect. Mr. Kang will be very pleased. Mr. Kang doesn't care what I look like, Iris thought bitterly. But she nodded anyway. Thank you. The wedding was tomorrow. Tomorrow, she would stand in front of 40 people and promise forever to a man who'd threatened to kill her. Tomorrow, she would lie to a dying woman's face. Tomorrow, her life as she knew it would officially end. That night, Ji-hun knocked on her bedroom door. Come in. He entered, dressed in a dark suit. His red hair was styled back, the dragon tattoo stark against his pale skin. He looked devastating. We need to practice. Practice what? The kiss. Her stomach dropped. What? At the ceremony, we'll need to kiss. It needs to look convincing. He stepped closer. So we're going to practice. No, I can't. You don't have a choice. His voice was firm. Unless you want everyone to know this is fake? She stood, backing away. I can fake it in the moment. We don't need to. Yes, we do. He closed the distance between them. Because if you freeze up tomorrow, if you hesitate, people will notice. My grandmother will notice. Her back hit the wall. He braced a hand beside her head, leaning in. It's just a kiss, Iris. It's not. Just anything to me. Something flickered in his eyes. You've kissed someone before. Not like this. Not as a performance. Then think of it as acting. His other hand came up, fingers brushing her jaw. Close your eyes. Ji-hun closed them. She did, heart hammering. She felt his breath on her lips. Warm, close. Breathe. She tried, failed. Iris. His thumb stroked her cheek. Relax. I can't. Why? Because you scare me. The words hung between them. Silence. Then quietly. I know. His lips touched hers. Soft, gentle. Nothing like she'd expected. It lasted 3 seconds. Maybe 4. Then he pulled back. Iris's eyes flew open. He was watching her. Expression unreadable. See? Not so terrible. Her heart was racing. Her lips tingled. Again, he said. What? We need to do it again, until it looks natural. They practiced for 20 minutes, each kiss a little longer, a little more convincing. By the end, Iris's hands were shaking, and her mind was a mess. Good enough, Ji-hun finally said, stepping back. Tomorrow, just follow my lead. He left without another word. Iris stood there, fingers touching her lips, wondering what the hell was happening to her. The wedding day arrived too fast. Iris woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and her stomach in knots. Today. It's today. A team of stylists descended on her at 8 a.m. Hair, makeup, the dress. They transformed her into someone else. Someone beautiful and elegant and completely unlike herself. At 10 a.m., Ji-hun knocked. Ready? She opened the door. He froze. For a moment, just a moment, something crossed his face. Surprise, appreciation, something else she couldn't name. You look... He stopped, cleared his throat. Good. You look good. Thank you. He wore a black tuxedo, perfectly tailored. His red hair was styled back, making his sharp features even more pronounced. The dragon tattoo was partially hidden by his collar, but she could still see the edge of it. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. The car's waiting. The venue was a private estate outside Seoul. Gardens, a gazebo decorated with white flowers, chairs arranged in neat rows. Small, intimate, beautiful. This should be the happiest day of my life, Iris thought. And instead, it's a lie. Ji-hun's grandmother arrived in a wheelchair, oxygen tank beside her, but she was beaming. She took Iris's hands, tears in her eyes. You're so beautiful, child. So beautiful. Thank you, Hamione. Take care of my boy. Promise me. Iris forced a smile. I promise. The ceremony was a blur. Standing at the altar, Ji-hun beside her, tall and imposing. The officiant's words washing over her. Vows she repeated by rote, meaning none of them. Ji-hun's voice, steady and sure, promising forever. And then, you may kiss the bride. Ji-hun turned to her. His eyes locked on hers. He stepped closer, hands gentle on her waist, leaned in, and kissed her. Not like the practices. This was different, slower, deeper. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb stroking her cheek. The crowd erupted in applause, but Iris barely heard it, because for a moment, just a moment, she forgot this was fake. When he pulled back, his eyes searched hers. Then he smiled. For the cameras, for the guests. And Iris smiled back, playing her part. The reception was worse. 40 people congratulating them, toasting to their happiness. Ji-hun's hand never left her waist. Possessive, claiming. She played the blushing bride, laughed at jokes, accepted well wishes, and all the while, she felt like she was drowning. Tae-young found her during a quiet moment. Congratulations. Thank you. You look beautiful. Happy. He studied her. Are you? Happy? The question caught her off guard. Yes, of course. He didn't look convinced. Ji-hun can be difficult. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'll be fine. Ji-hun appeared beside her, hands sliding around her waist. Mind if I steal my wife? Tae-young smiled. She's all yours. Ji-hun led her away, toward the gardens. Once they were alone, he released her. You did well. Thank you. My grandmother is happy. That's what matters. Right. That's what matters. He looked at her, really looked at her. Are you okay? The question surprised her. Why do you care? Because you're my responsibility now. Your responsibility, not your wife. Legally you are. She laughed bitterly. Legally, what a romantic thought. Romance was never part of this deal. I know. She looked away. I didn't expect it to feel so real. It's not real. 3 days later, the call came. Ji-hun's phone rang at 2 a.m. Iris heard him answer. heard his sharp intake of breath. Then footsteps. He appeared at her door, fully dressed. "My grandmother." She collapsed. "We need to go." They drove to the Cairo facility in silence. Ji-hun's hands were white-knuckled on the steering wheel. His jaw clenched so tight she thought it might break. She wanted to say something, comfort him, but what could she say? At the facility, they were led to her room. The grandmother was in bed, monitors beeping, looking so small and frail, but awake. She smiled when she saw them. "Ji-hun, and my beautiful Iris." Ji-hun was at her side immediately. "Halmayoni, don't talk. Save your strength." "For what? I'm dying." She squeezed his hand. "Let me enjoy my last moments with the people I love." Iris stood back, feeling like an intruder. But the grandmother saw her. "Come here, child." Iris approached, took her other hand. "I'm glad you're here, both of you." She looked at them with such love. "You make each other better. I see it." "No," Iris wanted to scream. "It's all a lie." But she couldn't. Not now. Not when this woman was dying. "Take care of each other," the grandmother whispered. "Promise me, when I'm gone, promise you'll stay together, that you'll love each other." Ji-hun's voice was thick. "Halmayoni, promise me, Ji-hun." "I promise." She looked at Iris. "I promise," Iris choked out. The grandmother smiled, closed her eyes. "Good. That's good." They stayed all night. The grandmother drifted in and out of consciousness. Ji-hun never left her side, and Iris watched him, this cold, dangerous man, break apart piece by piece. At dawn, the grandmother opened her eyes one last time, looked at Ji-hun. "My beautiful boy, so much like your father, so strong." She touched his face. "Don't be alone anymore, okay? You have Iris now. Let her in." "Halmayoni, let her in, Ji-hun. Let yourself be happy." Then she smiled, and her eyes closed, and the monitors flatlined. Ji-hun didn't cry. Not when the doctors pronounced her dead. Not during the funeral arrangements. Not at the service, where he stood stone-faced and silent. Iris watched. Him through it all, her heart aching. She wanted to comfort him, but they weren't real. This marriage was fake. She had no right to his grief. After the funeral, back at the penthouse, Ji-hun disappeared into his office. Iris stood outside the door, listening. Silence. Then, a crash. Glass breaking. She opened the door without thinking. The office was destroyed. Papers everywhere. A bottle of whiskey shattered against the wall. And Ji-hun, sitting on the floor, head in his hands, red hair falling forward. "Get out!" She didn't. She crossed the room, sat beside him. "You don't have to do this alone." "Yes, I do." "Ji-hun, she was all I had." His voice broke. "The only person who gave a damn about me, and now she's gone. You have Taeyang, I have no one." He looked at her, and for the first time, she saw his eyes were wet. "This," he gestured between them, "isn't real. You're here because I forced you. Everyone else? They fear me, or they want something from me. But she actually loved me." Iris's chest tightened. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Just leave me alone." "No." He laughed bitterly. "Still playing the dutiful wife?" "No. I'm being a human being." She shifted closer. "You're in pain. And I'm here. You hate me. Right now, I don't." The words surprised her, but they were true. Right now, you're just someone who lost the person they love most. And I understand that. He stared at her. Then, slowly, his walls crumbled. And Kang Ji-hun, dangerous, untouchable, cold, collapsed against her shoulder and cried. Iris wrapped her arms around him, holding him as he broke. And for the first time since this nightmare began, she didn't feel like a prisoner. She felt like maybe, just maybe, they were both trapped in this together. 3 weeks since the funeral, 4 weeks since the wedding. He'd slowly given her more freedom, but with his men watching. She said she wanted to pick some books at the bookshop. The rain started around 8 p.m. By 9, it was pouring. Déjà vu, Iris thought, staring at the downpour. She texted Ji-hun, Rain is bad. I'll wait it out. He responded immediately. Iris. Car. Now. She smiled despite herself. He was bossy, overprotective, but also worried? Okay. 20 minutes. She stepped outside. The rain was brutal. Again. She stood under the awning, waiting for the car. A black van pulled up. She frowned. This wasn't one of Ji-hun's usual cars. Before she could make any move, she was pushed in. The door slammed shut, and Iris realized, too late, there was someone else in the van. A woman, elegant, beautiful, cold eyes. Hello, Iris. Panic flared. Who? The van sped off. Iris lunged for the door, locked. I wouldn't do that, the woman said calmly. Let me out. Sit down. I said let me. The woman moved fast, grabbed Iris's wrist, twisted. Iris gasped in pain, fell back into the seat. The woman smiled. Better. Now, we're going to have a conversation. Iris's heart raced. Who are you? That doesn't matter. The woman lit a cigarette, studied her. What matters is what you saw. What? The night in the rain, the alley, the deal. She exhaled smoke. Tell me what you saw. I don't know what you're talking about. Slap. Iris's head snapped to the side, pain exploding across her cheek. Don't lie to me. Iris touched her face, tears springing to her eyes. I'm not lying. I don't. Ji-hun married you for a reason. He doesn't marry nobodies. So what did you see? Nothing. I saw cars and people and I ran. What was in the briefcases? I don't know. Who else was there? I don't know. The woman leaned forward, grabbed Iris's face roughly. You're either very stupid or very good at playing innocent. I'm not playing anything. Please, I just want to go home. Home. The woman laughed. To Ji-hun? That's sweet. You actually think he cares about you. Let me go. No. She released Iris's face, sat back. See, here's your problem, Iris. You're in the middle of something you don't understand. Something dangerous. And Ji-hun, he's using you. I know that. Do you? The woman tilted her head. Do you know what he really does? Who he really is? He's a killer. The word was stark, cold. He's killed more people than you can count. His hands are soaked in blood, and you're sleeping under his roof, playing house, thinking you're safe. Iris's breath caught. You're scared. Good. You should be. The woman pulled out her phone, showed Iris a photo. Nia. At her university. Unaware she was being photographed. Iris's blood turned to ice. No. Pretty girl. Your sister, yes? Please don't. Relax. I'm not going to hurt her. Yet. The woman pocketed the phone. But I could. Very easily. Tears streamed down Iris's face. What do you want? I want you to work for me. What? The woman leaned in, eyes glittering. You're going to spy on Ji-hun. You're going to tell me everything. His meetings, his deals, his plans, everything. Why would I? Because if you don't, your sister dies. Her smile was poisonous. And I'll make sure you watch. Iris couldn't breathe. You're insane. I'm practical. The woman sat back. And let me be very clear about something, Iris. Ji-hun is mine. I don't give a shit who you are or what contract you signed. He belongs to me, Mama, and I will do whatever it takes to get him back. He doesn't love you. Slap, harder this time. Iris's vision blurred. You don't know anything about us, about our history. You're just a placeholder, a convenience. The woman grabbed Iris's jaw, forced her to look at her. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to go back to that penthouse. You're going to smile and play the loving wife. And when I contact you, you're going to tell me everything I want to know. And if I tell Ji-hun, then your sister dies screaming, and I'll make sure you listen to every second of it. She released Iris's jaw. So what's it going to be, little bride? Work for me or plan a funeral? Wait, hold up. Did this woman really just threaten Iris's sister? Did she really just force her to spy on Ji-hun? The same man Iris is starting to catch feelings for? And who even is this woman? Ji-hun's ex? A rival? Someone from his past? Because here's what we know. Iris is trapped. Again. She was forced into this marriage to save her sister. Now she's being forced to betray him to save her sister. And the worst part? Ji-hun just told her, it feels like more. He's falling for her. And now she has to destroy him. This is about to get messy. Part 2 is dropping soon. And y'all, the tension, the betrayal, the drama, it's going to be insane. If you're not subscribed, what are you even doing? Hit that button right now because you do not want to miss what happens next. Also, who do you think this mystery woman is? Drop your theories below. Is she his ex? A rival gang leader? Someone he crossed? Let's discuss. Oh, and one more thing. Remember that night in the rain? When Iris saw something? Yeah, that's going to come back in a big way. See you soon. Are you ready?